Guys, it's 7 o'clock, which means it's Aussie Mail's Weave a Week live session. Hi to you all. Just bear with me for a second. You know the routine, got to do the little clicky click thing. Make sure I can see you. If you're out there watching me, give me a shout out so I can see that you guys are hearing me okay and that the messages are coming up. Alright, looks like I'm having a problem with my connection again. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Alright, I'm still not seeing any comments. Oh, excellent. There you all are. Hello, everyone. Hello, Dawn and Jenny and Rebecca and Wes, Hazel, Marion, Shirley, Julie, Natalie, Leanne, Joe, Annette, Ashley, Diane. Oh, heaps of you. Hi, guys. How are you all going? Hi, Rowena, love. Catherine, how are you? Thank you so much for the prezi today, Rowena. I'm going to indulge in that a little bit later. Thank you, thank you. Okay, fabulous. Good to hear, Wes. Okay, so as you know, our weave this week is Turkish Roundmaille. Hi, Mike and Susie. You meh, Catherine? How's your thumb? So Turkish Roundmaille is a Byzantine variant, so and usually it's considered sort of a beginner's weave. Silver, hello love, Marion. That's better. I'm glad that bit's better, Catherine. Yeah, so basically it's a Byzantine variant. If you think of it as Byzantine in the round, it's not too bad. Actually, I've got a rotten toothache, Ashley, I have to tell you. So if I start looking particularly pained, it's because my tooth's giving me hell. But I'm doped up on painkillers, so hopefully I'll be able to last the session with you guys. All right, so what I'll do is I'll switch this over to the other camera. We'll have a look at some of these pieces. Hey, Daryl, glad you made it. Daryl, did you get your kits in time? Okay. Oh, I think it's going to be a visit to the dentist, unfortunately. It's a nasty one, which is, my favourite thing to do with my time. Okay, peeps, I will put this over to the other camera and we'll get started on this. Okay, so I've made up some pieces for you in the different gauges to give you an idea. So this big chunky piece is 14 gauge, 1.6 mil, and that's ring size for that was 5.25 millimeter. So I didn't have any AA that I could do that in 2 colors, but that's a huge beast of a piece. 16 gauge, which is the kit that went out to everybody. Oh yeah, I've been dosing on clove oil, Dawn. 16 gauge was the kit that went out to everybody that is part of our subscription club. And with this one I chose the 5/32 so we could put a little bit of colour in there. Okay, and 18 gauge again so that we could get some colour. This is the 9/64 or 3.5 mil if you're working in metric. And this tiny little one is 20 gauge. I did that one in 7/64 or 2.75 if you wanted to do it in metric rings. Okay. Whole side of your face is swollen. Yeah, I think mine's a little bit more chubbier, but I've got a chubby face anyway, so you can barely tell. Yeah, the little one's quite cute, Ashley. I quite like that one. Okay, all right, so we start off this weave with 3 rings. And again, those that got the kits will notice we had 3 twist ties. So what you do is you put a twist tie through each ring and then put the rings sort of in a triangular formation and twist all your twist ties together. That'll give you something to hold on to then. So close up 3 of your rings, put a twist tie through each of them, and then twist them all together so that you get this sort of look. Okay, so once you've got that in place, we can start weaving. Hey Linda, how are you, sweetheart? Glad you made it. Okay. So taking up, so your first rings are obviously your silver or your colour 1 rings. Taking up another open ring of colour 1. I'm going to just pop that through 2 of our rings. You can see that there, hopefully. And close that up. Now I'm working in 16 gauge so I could show you the 2 colours, so it's a little bit harder to see on the camera, but hopefully it'll do okay. And we want to do that same thing all the way around our triangle of rings, our ring of rings. So going through the same ring that you've just put a ring through and through a new ring next to it, and close it up. And one more, going through the ring that you just put a ring through and back around to the first ring so that we complete the circle. Close it up. And you can see the original 3 rings here and then the 3 rings that we just added. Now, like in Byzantine, we need a chain of 3. In Byzantine, it's a chain of 3 pairs. In this case, it's a chain of 3 triple. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to use colour this time. And we're going to do the same as we did before. I'm going to pick up one of our end rings, pick up the one next to it, and close that ring up. Okay, and we're going to work around in the circle. We go through the ring that we just went through with the colour, through the next one, and we close it up. Okay, and one more to close up the circle, through our last set of rings and the one next to it where we started, and we close that up. Okay, so that means we've got our 3 rows of rings. You can see that there. We've got the first silver pair, the second silver pair, and, or they're not really pairs, are they? Triples, and the red set that we just put in. So like Byzantine, we're going to fold back that red set, and you'll find in this size that it naturally wants to do that once it gets to about that 3rd row. It sort of falls back there anyway. So we're folding our red rings back, and like Byzantine, we're going to come in and we're going to scoop up those rings that we folded back. So we're going to put a ring through this one and a ring through this one. So using our silver, scoop up one red one, scoop up another red one. Just like that. And close that ring up. Twirl it around. Going through that same ring, same red ring, and through the one next to it. And closing her up. And then through the last pair of unjoined red rings and close it up. So you can see the pattern forming there now, where we've got silver rings, the red rings folding back, and we're starting on the silver rings again. So that row of that circle of silver rings we just put in, that becomes our first of our 3 sets. So we want to put another set of silver rings in. And it goes just through one and the one next to it, just like that. Close her up. Turning it a little bit. We go through that same ring and the one next to it, just like that. Hey, Michael. And we close that up. And we just turn it around so we can join up that last set of rings. Like that. And we close it up. So now we've got 2 sets of silver rings on our piece there. You see those hanging down. 1 set there, 1 there. We're going to pop in a colour set now. Okay, so through 2 of the end silver rings. Close her up. Moving it around for the next set. So you go through the ring there that you've just placed a ring into, through the one next to it, close it up. That's a bit wonky. There we go. Alright, and our final red ring. Yeah, if you just think of it as Byzantine, but you're doing it in the round, it's really quite easy. So you've just got to do it in lots of 3s, the 3rd run being the one that you fold back, like you would in a Byzantine chain. Okay, so that's our 3rd one. And as I said, you can see that that 3rd ring, it naturally falls back. I don't have to do anything to fold those rings back. So it's 3 sets of rings, Leanne. So in this case, because we've got the colour rings, so I can show you that, we've got 1 set of silver, another set of silver, and 1 set of colour. So you would just use, if you're doing all the same colour, just 3 sets. The 3rd set is the one that you flip back and then pick up. Yeah, it falls back, as I said, in this size it falls back quite easily in this 16 gauge size. So you folded your rings back, a la Byzantine. We go in and we scoop up 2 of those rings. Nice and simple. 18 gauge, if you're talking 18 gauge being 1 mil, Ashley, then no, it would be quite loose. It probably won't hold its shape. It'd be flat. you pretty much need the size that you would use for a 2-connector Byzantine. So anything with an AR of around 3.5 is ideal. If you're getting too much bigger than that, then it's not going to keep its shape. It'll be quite flat. Hey, Yvonne, glad you could join us, love. So through the colouring again that we just put a ring through, and through the one next to it. And close it up. So 18 gauge you would need, either if you're working in our AA sizes, you would need 9/64 dawn, or 3.5 if you're working in just a straight metric. 9/64 is 3.57, 3.54, something like that. And putting our last silver ring in there. I'm closing that up. Okay. So that set that we've just put in has become our first of our 3 sets. So we need to put another silver set in. So through one ring and then one next to it. Close her up. Turning your work a little bit. Pop it through the ring that you just used and the fresh ring beside it. Closing it up. And connecting our circle up. Oh yes, it's very mathy, I'm afraid. But it's not scary maths. Okay, so that's our second set of rings, and we need to pop one more in, and that's going to be the colour in this case. Okay. Alright, so we'll give away a copy of our tutorial like we usually do. This time a bit more of a difficult question than we normally ask. So what I want to know is when you're opening rings, and I'm going to grab one here and show you what I do. I want to know whether you push your dominant hand towards you or away from you. Because there actually is a correct way of doing it, and I find that people often do it the other way and it makes it difficult to weave. So I'd like to see what you guys do. So in my case, my dominant hand is my right hand. So when I open rings, I bring my dominant hand towards me and my non-dominant hand away, and then I weave like this. So I'd love to hear what people do. So this is your dominant hand. Whether you're left or right-handed, it doesn't matter. But do you pull your dominant hand towards you or do you push it away? Cool. What's considered the correct way is generally towards you, but I do find a lot of people push it away, especially when I used to teach classes, and then I would watch them struggle trying to put their rings into the weaves. So I'm just wondering what other people do. Why does naturally the right side go away, Silver? Why do you say that? Okay, so just continuing the weave, putting our colour in. Yeah, as I said, pulling your dominant hand towards you is generally considered the correct way to weave. Sometimes you've got a weave that needs you to do it the other way around. But generally should be dominant towards you. Okay, so we've put our third set of rings in now. That's our coloured rings. Yeah, well, we don't wind our AA, Daryl. That's done by somebody else. And we actually have two different people who supply our AA to us currently. Our BA, we do ourselves. Yeah, some weaves, Linda, you do need to do it the other way just to help you in. Susie, they are Zurons. I've got a pair of chisel nose in my left hand and a pair of the short nosed in my right hand. We are currently out of stock on the website of all Zurons at the moment. We don't have any in stock at all. We do have an order in though, so hopefully we should have them in soon. But yeah, these are the ones that I'm currently using. I like the chisel in my non-dominant hand. If I do it the other way around, it feels a bit weird. But when I weave with a bent nose, that's also the hand that has my bent nose in it. So maybe it's just something because of that. Yeah, Dawn, they all ran out the door. So yeah, I've got none left. Absolutely none. Not even the 90-degree ones. Fantastic. All right, so we've put our red rings in, just continuing along. You can't actually order them until we put them into stock, Silver. They should be, they haven't been sent out to us yet. The order's in. I would hope to have it by the end of the week, maybe beginning of the next week, depending on how long it takes them to ship them. Okay, so just putting our new silver ring through two of our coloured rings that we've flipped back. Twisting our work around. Okay, so for those that have answered and want that tutorial, just to remember, guys, it is for only the live session only. So anybody that's watching the recorded session of this later, unfortunately, we don't give the tutorials away in our recorded session. So you needed to have commented live. And I also need you guys to have the ability on Facebook for me to message you. So I can send that tutorial out. If I can't message you guys, then I won't be giving it out, sorry. Okay, so just popping in the last of our silver rings to complete the circle. Okay, and we close that up. All right. And those that are wanting to sign up for our subscription group, we've still got time for the July. I think, let me just check dates. I think you've got till the 19th of June, no, 18th of June to sign up for the July kits. So you've still got a couple of weeks. July, there'll actually be 5 kits, so you'll get 5 kits for the cost of 4, which is a great value for money. So yeah, if you're still wanting to sign up for that, that's a great deal there. All right, so we've got one set of color silver rings in. Oh, so you guys are at the bead and buy, yes? Okay. So we've put one color ring in. We're going to, sorry, one silver ring in. We're going to pop the next silver ring in, going through the ring there, and a new one next to it. Close it up. Working in the round. We go through those final 2 rings so that we close the circle up. Okay. And then you've got your 2 sets of silver rings, which means our next set is a coloured set. Okay, and we pop colouring through 2 of our silver rings, close it up. Good on you, Annette. Okay, and through the next pairing of silver rings. Okay, like that. Give it a little twirl. And we pop in our last colouring to finish up the circle. And we close that up. The rings naturally fall back for us. But if they don't, you just flip all those coloured rings back. And I'm going to pop in the silver ring through the coloured rings there, like you would in Byzantine. As I was saying before, just pop that through there. Close it up. Yep, whereas you can place your colour rings wherever you want, mate. Not a problem. I just did it this way so that people could see the folding back, so they could see the difference, see what rings they have to pick up. So are you asking so that you can have a right hand opening ring or a left hand opening ring, Michael? Is that your question? Personally, I don't think it matters. It's up to the individual which way you want to wind it onto the mandrel. This is what ours look like. So ours actually look like left hand opening rings. Can I get that close enough? So people consider this a left hand ring because the left hand side is closer to you than the right hand side. But as I said, it shouldn't make a difference to how you weave because you just move. You've got to open it up anyway. So you just move it the way that you want to move it. Different manufacturers do it different ways. You see, ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference to the ring. Yeah, whatever works for you, Michael, basically. Okay, so I've done all my rings that I've got prepared. I think everybody is probably okay with that weave. Am I right with that assumption? No one has any questions about the weave itself? What do you mean you open away from the cut ends? I don't quite understand what that means. Fantastic. All right, if everybody's okay, we'll flip this back. I said it's a weave that looks a little tricky, but if you just treat it like it's Byzantine, then you shouldn't have any problems. So Pauline, the 20 gauge that I used for that piece was the 7/64, 2.78 is the conversion. So if you're using just a metric ring, 2.75. Hazel, if you're getting the tutorial shows you how I attached the clasp. I won't show you here how I did it, but the tutorial outlines all that for you. That's just one way of adding a clasp. If you get onto Google or Maille Artisans and have a look, there's a few different ways of doing ending rings that have got, or ending weaves, sorry, that have got 3 rings in them. So yeah, there's various ways of doing it. Mine was just a very simple closure. If you want something a little bit fancier, go on to Maille Artisans. There's a couple of articles there where people have designed different things. Okay, guys, well, thank you very much. I'm about to go and have birthday cake. It is Chris's birthday today. So if you could wish the old man a happy birthday, I'm sure he'd be thrilled. And yes, I'm going to go and have some cake and play some Trivial Pursuit, I believe, or maybe even fighter bots that he got for his birthday. So we're going to have a bit of a family night tonight. Hope you guys all enjoyed the demo and that you understood the weave. I will get that tutorial out to you guys that answered the question probably by about Tuesday. Next Wednesday we will have our new weave up, and the people that are part of our subscription, of course, will get the tutorial early, so they get to have a little peek and a little look-see before everybody else does. And we'll see you guys again on Saturday. Right, and yeah, hopefully I'll have my tooth fixed by then, or better drugs, one of the two. Alright guys, have a really good night, and we'll have cake for you next weekend as well then, Annette. Not a problem. Alright guys, thanks very much for joining us again, and we'll see you next week. I hope you all enjoyed it, and take care. Bye.